Dawson Trotman, the founder of Navigators, once said the greatest amount of wasted time is the time not started. Now, if you're like me, I used to put the pro in procrastination. And in today's video, I'm going to discuss how that actually hindered my ministry over the years and how I simply overcame procrastinating. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still tempted, but there's some easy steps that you can put in place that'll really help in this area of procrastination. So stay tuned. Now, ashamedly, I used to have the motto that if you wait till the last minute, it'll only take a minute. And as funny as that might sound, it actually was hindering my walk with the Lord and my ministry the longer I was succumbing to procrastination. And so maybe you're in the same situation where you tend to wait until the last minute and things aren't as good quality as they could be if you had planned out and if you'd taken smaller steps to action to accomplish what you were trying to do. Now, let me give you a scenario of what often happened is when it came to sermon prep or program planning. I was oftentimes the one that would take the brunt of the labor involved with that for youth ministry. And I would kind of wait until the last night before or even sometimes the morning of to prepare all my stuff and to get it all finalized. And what that did was it actually put more pressure on other people because they had to wait on me and kind of do things on the fly. And what I learned over the years, especially with my wife, sometimes people have to have more preparation needed to perform at their best. And so I became aware of this when I can just do things on the fly and do things fairly well like that. But other people that are on your ministry team, like volunteers or student leaders, they may need some more time to process and to be prepared for things to really run with it and to do well in your youth ministry. Another downside of procrastinating that ultimately hurt my ministry was that it developed a dependence on me. So when people were waiting on me to show up or things that were dependent on the program that night that I had planned in my head, but I hadn't really told other people or solidified those details, what it did was it depended more on me. And ultimately, there was times where I got sick at the last minute and I couldn't show up, and that left people scrambling to fill in the gaps of the ministry, and ultimately just left a bad taste in their mouth of my leadership. But all the way, like the Lord, commands us to really treat other people with love and respect, and I just knew that procrastinating wasn't the best way to love and to respect other people that depended on me in ministry. And so, with that said, there are a few things that I wanted to go over today that I put in place that helped me address the idea of procrastination in my own life. And really what this video is about, it isn't this cure-all thing, because I'll be honest, I still struggle with this. I still struggle with procrastination and waiting to the last minute to do things. I tend to work better under pressure, and usually a hard deadline is a good pressure mechanism for me to work. But with that though, I've realized over the years that there is so much more value in planning out and not procrastinating, waiting to the last minute, so that you can even be more excellent in that. So before we get started into a few things that I wanted to mention here that helped me, I wanted to let you know that we started this channel to really help youth ministers to avoid burnout, to last longer in ministry. You guys probably are aware that there's a huge systemic issue with high turnover in youth ministry. There's a high resignation rate. So 46% of youth leaders don't last to the 24-month mark, so the 2 years. And we want to address that through content like this. And we also have a youth ministry burnout assessment tool that we've created on our website. So you can go over to youthmenwins.com/burnout to take that assessment. It's like a percentage score that helps you identify how bad your symptoms of burnout might be so that you can get adequate help for that. So that's free and confidential, and you can go over to youthmenwins.com/burnout to take that now. So let's dive into a few things that I wanted to discuss that really helped me to avoid procrastination when it comes to ministry and doing things excellent before the Lord as we serve Him. So number one is what helped me is to break larger goals or larger projects into smaller chunks. Now, oftentimes we succumb to the procrastinator beast when we wait till the last minute, and then it just, things pile up and we have to get things done, or we might not want to work ahead of time because we seem like the accomplishment is too big or too much of a chore for us mentally to really adequately work. And what's helped me is to break it down into smaller chunks. So for instance, if you had a new volunteer manual that you wanted to produce for your volunteers, that kind of is a handbook for all the policies and things that you wanted to communicate to them for training, to do it the last minute would really ultimately hurt them. And to plan ahead and to break it up into smaller chunks really helps you to kind of have milestones to hit along the way, so that there's almost like, if you're imagining going down the street, you have like the painted yellow line, and then you have like the rumble strip, and then you have like some grass, and then you have the guardrail. And sometimes when it comes to procrastination, we wait until we're almost to that guardrail to actually kick our butts into gear and to work hard. And so with the milestones, the smaller chunks along the way, if you develop a bigger project, but in the smaller chunks, it really helps to give those warning signs of like, okay, even if you miss a small deadline, it's not the end of the world. It's not as drastic of a change to really be dependent on that last minute crunch time. So number 2 is develop a plan the day before or even the week before of your highest priorities. And it's something I've been doing for a long time now, and it's really helped me to kind of clearly focus on what the highest priorities are, so that when it comes down to it, I'm not in crunch time at the last minute. So Sunday afternoons, I actually plan out the next week. So I have like a priority list of different projects I'm working on, and I'll write those out, and then I'll determine, okay, what is the highest priority that I need to work on for this week? And I narrow it down to 3 top priorities. And so I look at the future goals, the program goals that I need to do, the weekly responsibilities that I have. And then I just have to realize that I need to have these 3 things done before the end of the week, or my week wasn't complete. And that really helps me to focus. And then I often review that like the night before, or even the early morning before the day gets started, so that I know what to work on and what to focus my time and attention on when it comes to those larger priorities. So develop a plan either weekly, on Sunday afternoons, or whenever your week starts the night before. And then really hone in that those weekly responsibilities or those highest priorities, so that you can really focus on those throughout the week. Number 3 is create deadlines for yourself. Now, oftentimes procrastinators are dependent on external deadlines, and that's what makes us to crunch time at the very end. So when it comes down to deadlines, it really helps us set our own deadlines and mentally to help us prepare that this is the day that it's due. And even if it is due later, but we know that that's our drop dead deadline for that. And it helps to set deadlines for ourselves. And of course, even with those smaller milestones that we can hit along the way, if it's a larger project that we're working on or something that we're long-term trying to focus on. And then number 4 is ask others for accountability. What I'm saying with this is oftentimes youth leaders struggle with procrastination. So sometimes you don't want to ask other youth leaders or other people that to hold you accountable with this, but people that are going to be directly affected with it and that are strong in this area. So maybe there's a leader in your church that you can call upon to say like, listen, like I've been wrestling with procrastination, and I really want to do well before the Lord. I want to do things with excellence, and I want to plan ahead of time so that people aren't dependent on me at the last second to run with things. And so with that, ask someone else that has a strength in this area to do that. And what helps me is really just talking over projects and deadlines with my wife, because she was the type of person in college, she would get her syllabus and she would like work through all the assignments for the syllabus for like the whole semester, even though they weren't due. I'm like, why are you working on this? Like, it's not due until the end of the semester. And she's like, no, but like I know that I have to do it. And so she was always really strong in this area. And so I lean on her a lot to kind of balance me out when it comes to avoiding procrastination and have that accountability. So there's those 4 things, just really simple things that have helped me along the way, that have made a drastic difference, and hopefully they'll help you to avoid procrastination in ministry. And so just to recap those 4 things, 1 is break larger goals into smaller chunks. Develop those milestones along the way. Develop a plan the day before or even the week before of your highest priorities to work on that week. And those can be weekly responsibilities that are the highest priorities, or even like long-term priorities that you need to develop in weekly habits that'll help you to accomplish those long-term goals. And then 3, create deadlines. So even if there's external deadlines, try to create internal deadlines in your own space and mind, so that you know that that's when your goal is to have everything complete. And then last but not least, ask others for accountability. And so try to involve other people in the process, so that they can hold you accountable and that you can stick to this. Because left on our own device, procrastinators will just procrastinate. And I want you to go ahead and take an action step like right now. Don't wait until you need to use these, because I know you as a procrastinator, because I am one myself. So hopefully this will help you in your ministry ultimately, and to grow and to make disciples, and who make other disciples. And so that's my 2 cents on procrastination. And maybe one of those 4 things helped you or stuck out to you as a stronger one than the others. And so I'd love to know which one meant the most, or was it most impactful to you. And you can leave that in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I invite you to do that if you've gained value from these videos. And of course, like and share if you feel like other people in your circle of influence would benefit from these as well. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next video.